change of directions from this album to the previous two albums?
The first record was very 3-minute songs, in your face, lots of guitars, lots of singing, lots of loud drums. Second album was like quiet verse, big chorus, quiet verse, big chorus, quiet verse, big chorus out. This album's kind of all atmospheric, like, and well, the main difference is we use the same producers, so obviously that stayed the same. So I suppose the main difference is basically we use a lot more instruments on this record, a lot more backing vocals. We never used much backing vocals on an album before. We used gospel singers on the first track, which we took the idea from when we did the Tom Jones single, when we used the 3 girls singing. Before we've kind of filled all the gaps with loud guitars and loud drums and stuff, and on this one we kind of added a lot more dynamic to the record. So when it's gone up and down, we've just added extra instruments rather than us playing loud or quiet. So there's a lot more arrangements on the record. That's the main differences really. There's
a longer period of time in the studio as well, so the more time with them, the more ideas are coming out, so you could chuck more ideas down for songs, and you can come back to the songs you recorded like 3 days ago or whatever. So yeah, it's good like that.
We did 2 weeks rehearsals in Monmouth Valley in Monmouth, South Wales, and then we went to Real World in about July or end of June, and we were there for about 6 weeks. So it was about 8 weeks in total recording, and then we went to New York a couple of weeks after that to mix it with Andy Wallace in the Soundtrack Studios, and he's done everybody like from Nirvana to Jeff Buckley to
Sheryl Crow,
whatever, really.
Skunk and Nancy,
Blind Melon. Even done some names that we don't want to mention.
Yeah, we made the album with Bird and Bush. They produced the first and second record on this record. It's just they're just good people to work with, easy to work with, easy to communicate with. There's no egos in the studio, everybody kind of bounces ideas off each other, so we never fancied the idea of making a record that sounded more like the producer than the band. So we kept on using them really. Marshall's really easy to work with, communicating musically wise, and Marshall's the guy who came on the acoustic tour with me. If anybody came to any of the shows, he's the piano player. So I don't know, if it ain't broke, then we won't fix it, so we'll have to see how the next slow writing goes for the next record and to see if we use them again. But up until now it's been cool.
And how do you record? Do you all go and lay down a rough track and then go and do your bits separately, or are you all in there all the time? Or?
It's just the 3 of us in a room. We recorded as much of the backing track as live as possible. Whatever's in time and in tune we keep, what ain't then we redo. And that's kind of how 3 pieces record, I think. Backing tracks done, and the boys still plays golf for a couple of weeks. And we get in somebody else to do the singing and guitar playing, and spend my time at the pub on a Friday night. It's fucking magnificent. You should try it, it's easy. There's a lot of influences on it, like just the use of the gospel singers and the first warming up and stuff. This kind of influence from, we've always wanted to do like a big riff guitar song and gospel singers like the Black Crowes on Southern Harmony, a musical companion album. So when we did Vegas, and we'd had the experience doing the song with Tom Jones and the backing singers, it kind of all fell into place very easily really. They came down the studio, they must have drank about 15 bottles of red wine and off they went really, and it was the best 900 quid I think I ever spent.
Obviously living lover, £900 later.
Robert's his sister's brother, and there he was, you know. Good crack, like. No, the title comes from, my brother used to write like different phrases and words on his bedroom wall, Kevin. Kevin came up with like Harry from White and all that as well. I don't know what goes on inside Kevin there, nobody does. I think you got head full of cuddly toys.
Favourite track on the album is Nice to Be Out. Simply because all the lyrics I can remember, you know, like, because it's just a snapshot of our life on the road over the past 3-4 years, and every time I listen to this song it takes me back to, you know, like being in those places, and it's nice and, you know, like simple song, and it just carries all the lyrics all through. There's no chorus, there's no beginning, there's no ending, it just it's just lyrics solid through. It's just a song.
I think my favourite track is the Writer. Basically because I think it's the most different sounding record that we've made, really, just because of all the extra backing vocal ideas, how kind of loose it sounds, and the words are riff from Marshall done. And it was just one of those songs that got everybody going in the studio. He started off very, very scruffy and he built into something really good very early on. Actually, it was recorded, so it was pretty much done in Mono Valley in the 2-week rehearsal, so it gave us a lot of confidence to go in to make the album once we heard that track. So, and it's kind of a loose comment about how bad some of the journalism is in Britain. So that's why I like it more, because it makes them talk about it quite well.
I'm going to pick Rooftop. Good song, great harmonica solo by a very good friend of ours called Glenn Hyde. And it's just a nice song. I think it's going to be a nice song to play live with the outro, and I think it can go basically anywhere you want it to go, really. You can have it long, short, tall, slim, whatever. So there you are, really. It's the last song on the album, and that's one of my favourites.